Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the light, embrace the dawn. Empowerment, it's going strong. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today. Morning gods, we shine so bright. Wisdom flowing, pure insight. Soars through God's words, they lift us high. New beginnings reach the sky. Every moment, take it in. Start anew, let's begin. From the dawn to the night, together we ignite. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to First Light Reflections, your weekday guide to self-discovery and empowerment, where each sunrise brings you and I, what does it bring, family? A new, fresh opportunity to reflect, reset, and create the best version of ourselves. And before we even greet the chat today, let's just jump right out of the gate. Every single day, you're sowing something. But here's the hidden part. Your words are the water, and your habits are the hands. If the mouth stays reckless, if your movement stays lazy, you'll starve yourself and we'll end up putting a label on it. And we often call it warfare. And the scariest part about that is you won't even realize it until the harvest comes up empty. As we look at our topic this morning, lazy mouth, empty harvest. And it is all because of the invisible seeds that we've been watering. So drop it in the chat this morning if you're serious about digging up the right roots this morning. No more lazy seeds. Or grab the plant emoji. Mouth reset, movement reset. Grab those plant emojis. Harvest season requires harvest habits. Put it in the chat this morning as we prepare to greet the chat and see who all is with us this morning. Good morning, San. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Burton. How are you doing? Top of the morning to you. Warm beverage? I need it this morning. Good morning, Delisa. So glad to see you. Good morning, Michelle. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Hey now. Good morning, Mama B. So glad to see you. Good morning, Alicia. Hey. Good morning, Sister Lily. So glad to see everyone. So put it there in the chat. No more lazy seeds. Mouth reset, movement reset. Harvest season requires harvest habits. Or go through those devices and find some of the pretty tulips and flowers and roses like what Sister Lily has there and put them in if we're serious about getting to the root of things this morning, family. And before we dive in, again, I thank the wonderful community that joins me here live each weekday morning at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, of course, in the live chat, and also those that may be watching on Facebook or those that may be silently watching or catching the replay. I say thank you. You may be quiet, but I pray that your growth is loud right along with us here this morning. But first, let us do things decent and in order. Heavenly Father, we thank you for keeping us and bringing us together at this First Light Reflection. As we come together to share your word and to study in it, may we take what we learned this morning and may it just light a new spirit in us, Father God, as we go through asking the question this morning about uprooting all those things that don't serve us, all of those things that don't serve you. We ask that you tabernacle with us this morning and may you be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So family, let us not delay. Let's get right into it this morning, right? Let's get into it. We've been taught to blame the enemy for delay. Have we not? That's first thing. The enemy, the devil, old Satan. But let's look at it. But first, let's take a look at our poll. Which slows you down more? Sloppy words is sitting at 17%. Lazy habits is sitting at 50%. Both, but fixing all of it is 17%. Also, still at 17% is staying sharp and ready. So, we'll see how this levels itself out here. But right now, lazy habits is sitting at 50%. That's it, Delisa. That's it. Harvest season requires harvest habits. Alicia saying, no more lazy habits. Harvest season causes harvest habits. That's what we're looking at. No more lazy habits. And Vanessa got her green thumb out saying, not today. Not today. So let's get into it. You know, we always blaming the enemy for delays. You know, to shout harder, to worship dance longer, to pray longer, while not realizing that what we say and what we sow, those two things are feeding each other. One is feeding the other. But our devotional text this morning, Proverbs chapter 14, we'll be looking at verses 3 and 4. It shows us a very brutal truth this morning. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. When no oxen, wait a minute, when no oxen, where no oxen are, come on, coach. Man, hooked on phonics. It did work for me. Where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. So what does that mean for us in short? If our mouth is sloppy, if our work is lazy, if our habits are passive, we'll harvest nothing out of that but frustration. See, we don't reap what we hope for. We reap what we host and work on daily. Those things that we cultivate daily. So that brings us to our question of the day. Where have your words and work been sabotaging the very harvest that you've been praying for? That's our question of the day. Write it down. The Spirit is about to show you clearly, give you that nudge, that reminder that we talked about on yesterday. Where have your words and work been sabotaging the very harvest that you've been praying for? See, we have to realize that our mouth is not neutral. It's a weapon, or a lot of times it can be a wrecking ball. Have we not knocked a few people out, taken down a few buildings with this mouth of ours? Every conversation that we have, especially the self-talk sessions, every self-talk session that we repeat, every time we declare defeat out loud, we're either securing our future or sabotaging it silently. So there's no neutral ground. Verse 3. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. What's it telling us? Our mouth is a weapon of preservation or destruction. One or the other. See, a fool uses his pride like a rod. You say, how so? How so, coach? Beating down opportunities without even realizing it. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride. Just beating away, knocking away opportunities without even realizing it. Good morning, Nikki. So glad to see you. See, prideful speech repels favor. It invites resistance, and it also attracts collapse. So wise lips, however, they preserve. The lips of the wise will preserve them. You know, has there ever been a situation, give me a 3 in the comments, if there's ever been a situation that you look back on, and because in that moment you say, whew, I avoided that. Simply because our mouths preserved us. Your mouth preserved you in that moment. And each time you replay it back, you know that it could have went different. But because you utilize wisdom and you just, hey, I don't have nothing to say. Or people say, what do you think? I don't think nothing. No comment. I don't have anything to say. Or you just simply turned and walked away. And you know that situation, right? Wise lips, they preserve. What's going on, Jay? Good morning, 15G. Wise lips. The lips of the wise will preserve them. Jay said, Alicia said, yep. We can, and it's funny when we talk about these things, how the picture or that moment, it instantly comes to mind. It usually doesn't take a lot of thinking. The spirit just pops it right up. Like remember those old projectors, and the teachers would have the what they call those things. They now call them Promethean boards, but back in the day, you remember they had the projectors, and y'all had to take that little clear piece of paper and thing and slide it and line it up on there, Vanessa, and wind the little thing up so it could be on the screen. What was that little piece of paper y'all had to put on there? I can't think of the name of it, but when these situations come up, it's like the projector that just comes on in our mind. So wise lips, however, they preserve or they build bridges, guard credibility, and protect momentum. So every word that we say is either securing the gate or is swinging the door wide open and saying, come on in the room, sabotage. Trouble, come on in. That's what's happening. Vellum, I can't remember, Lee. And I just remember the teachers, they would pull those things out and they would put them in the little overhead projector things, but it was that little clear piece of paper and they had to write on it. I think they could erase them. I think there it is. Thank you, Delisa. Oh, mercy. Thank you. Transparency. The transparency film. That's it. So when these moments come back, when these things come back to remember, it's like a transparency film has been put on the projector and it just plays back right in our head, just as clear as the day. Clear as day. Like it just happened. It could have been months, years ago. But it's a clear image in our head. Verse 4, where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. Now, we just went from talking about lips that preserve to oxen. What does this have to... Somebody help me here. Where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. What is the Lord trying to tell us this morning, family? What's the oxen have to do with this? Anybody want to take a chance at it? Let me know. I'll wait. Can you help a coach out this morning? Where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. Those are the two things, the overhead projector and the transparency film. That's what I needed. And now I need some help. Help me out. What do you guys think? Where no oxen are, because we just went from talking about wise lips, persevering, rods of pride. Now we're talking about oxen. What's going on here? Well, you know what? Let's see. Where no oxen are, the trough is clean. Meaning what? Fruitful fields are always messy. No ox equals no mess equals no movement. The field's a little bit too clean. It's a little bit too perfect. That's it. Got to put in the work. Got to put in the work. Got to get out there and make some tracks. I remember my grandma would be like, "Girl, don't be stepping on my rows like that." We be going through planting during the summers, and I'm not paying attention where I'm looking. Hey, you're stepping, you're mashing up my stuff. That's what she would say. As I take a glance at our poll, which slows you down more? Sloppy words, all right, 12%. Also matching it up at 12%. Staying sharp and ready, all right, those two are sitting at 12. Now, both, but I'm fixing it all, has creeped up to 25%, but still sitting at 50%. Which slows you down more? Lazy habits is still riding at 50%. That's it. It's more sophisticated now, the Promethean board. You just choose the camera option and can reflect anything, right? Good morning, Jess. Good morning, good morning. So no ox, no mess, no movement. Where there's no oxen, the trough is clean. So what is this saying? If your life is too clean and easy, the chances are you're producing zero real harvest. True increase is messy. It's uncomfortable. It demands strength. It requires maintenance, and it looks ugly before it looks fruitful. When I look back And when I first started this live stream, anybody remember what day it was and what year? When I first started this live stream, at that time I was using StreamYard. I look back at those. It looks ugly before it looks fruitful. We got the job done, but the lighting was off. It was dark. Half the time I looked like a strangled cat coming on, in the morning, just pop on any kind of way. There was no decorum, no order to it. But we got the message done. The word came through. That was the important part. But had I sat and worried about, well, I don't have this camera, I don't have this lighting, I don't have this stream deck, it's uncomfortable. It requires maintenance. It demands strength. Lord knows it does. It demands strength. And it looks ugly before it looks beautiful. There we go. 4/1/24. April 1st of 2024. It had to look ugly before it got beautiful. We didn't have these type of slides. But then Ecamm stepped into my life. Thank you. Thank you, twins, Ken and Glenn. Ecamm came into my life. Then we were able to upgrade, do a little bit more things, bring comments, flash different things onto the screen, play all kinds of sound, do all kinds of stuff, right? Vanessa says, I can't see the poll. Can you guys see the poll? Vanessa says, I can't see the poll. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here, right here. Look on this device too. Let me just take a look, because I've never actually looked at it from my phone. I got time today. Let's see. Let's take a look. Interesting. Now from here, I can see it. But on my phone, is anyone else on their phone? My grandma said, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, ain't that about something? Okay, let me quit playing around. All right. I don't know why I can hear Vanessa's voice. It came up momentarily. No, she has that British accent. Came up momentarily. Sister Liz said, I see it in my phone. Well, might be that Android. You see it too, Sam? Could be them Androids. I don't know. It looks ugly before it looks fruitful. No work, no breakthrough. No work, no breakthrough, no sacrifice, no harvest. No labor, no legacy. See, the best summary for our devotional text: big prayers without big plows equals barren fields. If your words and work don't match your prayers, we have to stop blaming God for the delay. He's like, no. No. This is not on me. He said, your fields, they've been clean. No, you didn't have the oxen out. So our words and our work have to match our prayers. Jay said, I'm getting ready, so I don't have time to come for you. Oh, she heard that. Potter, you heard that, Jay? Right? So our words and the work has to match the prayers, or we can't go blame God. Why is the delay? Why is this not happening? We have to put in the work. See, heaven isn't rewarding hype. It's releasing results to habits. So and that tightness that you may feel in your spirit, it's the harvest alarm going off this morning. That inner tension, that frustration, like, man, something's off. That's the spirit pressing you, saying, delay. Today, don't delay. Check your confession. Check your consistency. And check your cultivation. Because he's like, you ain't waiting on me. You'll be getting ready to go. Or someone, sitting there. And you're like, hey, I'm waiting on so-and-so. And they're like, you're not waiting on me. I've been ready. And God says, you're not waiting on me. You're watering the seeds incorrectly. You're not doing enough cultivating. So family, we're not stuck because God stopped moving. We're stuck because our mouth and our movement stopped matching our prayers. Good morning, Obs. So glad to see you. That's why we're stuck. See, every sloppy word, every skipped opportunity to go into the field and plow, every excuse that we labeled under the disguise of, I'm just waiting on God to move. And he's like, hey, I've already moved. Remember when he told Israel, hey, when I move, you pick up your tents, you pack up everything and move. When the cloud moves, you move. He's like, I already relocated. Why are you still back there? So every excuse disguises, I'm just waiting on God. We have to look at the fact that maybe we're watering the wrong seeds. Lazy mouth, empty harvest. But here's the good news. It's time to hope you. Here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck. We can speak like someone who expects harvest. We can work like someone who plans to reap from that harvest. Because heaven, again, isn't rewarding hype. Heaven is waiting to respond to habits. And see, this isn't about just hoping and wishing for overflow. It's about working with wisdom. So tonight, don't just pray for rain. Don't just pray for rain. Start planting what you're actually willing to harvest, because this watch isn't about the hype. It's about resetting our mouths and our movement before they sabotage us, family, before they sabotage our harvest. Because what we say at 6 p.m. and what we plow at 6 a.m., guess what? It shows up in our fields the next season. So it isn't about wishing for harvest. It's about becoming the worker that's ready for the harvest. So this 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., the first watch of the night, is also called the watch of instruction and reset. See, again, this isn't a hype watch. This is a heavy reconstruction watch. A time to pray, God, break the pride that makes me speak death over my future. Reset my mouth to speak like someone who is ready for harvest. Discipline my hands to plow consistently, even when it's not glamorous, even when it's not pretty, even when I don't have everything that I feel that I need. You know, in the community, we tend to say a lot of people have gas. Gear acquisition syndrome. Oh, I need another mixer. I need another keyboard. I need a roadcaster. I need a mic boom arm. Oh, I need a top light. I need a hair light. I need more lights. No. You get it done with what you have. So discipline my hands to plow consistently, even when it's not glamorous. Stop making the excuses and simply get the work done. Well, I don't have cameras. Guess what? You got a whole studio right in here. Turn it on, hit that button, record, or hit go live. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Make me a faithful farmer before you make me a public reaper. That's deep. Because until our private planting changes in our public harvest, they won't come. Until the private planting changes that public harvest, it's not going to come. It's not. We have to put in the work behind the scenes. The fields can't stay clean, as our devotional text shows. We have to have the oxen moving. And if you want to understand more and go deeper into the prayer watches, you know what to do. The link's in the description, or you can simply scan the code on the screen. So as we recap our devotional text this morning, in the mouth of fools is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. Reminding us that our mouth isn't neutral. Every word that we speak is either building armor that protects our future or swinging weapons that sabotage our own progress. Prideful speech, it welcomes and invites collapse. But wise speech preserves credibility, momentum, and the harvest opportunities. Verse 14, where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. reminding us that harvests don't come from clean barns and easy days. Fruitful fields demand strength, sweat, maintenance, and messiness. So if you avoid the hard, dirty work of building, you forfeit the increase that you've been praying for. So because growth is gritty. And God's favor meets the faithful, not just those that are fantasy minded, hoping and wishing and dreaming. You got books and journals, for days of I hope, I wish, I want. But are we putting in the work? And let's see how our poll leveled out here. Sloppy words dropped down to 10%. Staying sharp and ready also dropped to 10%. 30% both, but fixing all of it, that went from 25 to 30%, but still sitting at the top. Lazy habits at 15%, at 50%. There it is. Our poll finalized this morning. So growth is messy. It's messy. But guess what? God's favor will always meet the faithful, not just those sitting, hoping, wishing, wanting, complaining, wanting more. Not cultivating the land that we have. Who remembers that scripture text that we went over last week about we have to cultivate what we have? Does anyone remember that text? So family, our lives, they aren't confused. They just simply need consistency. Consistency. That's what it needs. It's not confused to me. We just have to make that intentional decision. Come on, coach, to say, I'm going to become consistent. I'm going to take action. I'm going to make sure that I'm cultivating something within my fields each and every day. You're reaping exactly what our mouth and our hands have planted. Lazy mouth, empty harvest. If we speak pride, what will we harvest? Put it in the chat. I'll wait. If we continue and say, you know what? I'm going to keep speaking this way. There's nothing you can do or say to convince me otherwise, coach. What are we going to harvest? I'll wait for it. I'll wait. I know there's a delay in the chat there, but I'll wait for it. If we insist on speaking with pride, what comes up in the harvest? I'll wait for it. I know there's a delay. Looking at our topic this morning under Proverbs chapter 14, verses 3 and 4. Lazy mouth, empty harvest. So if we make that intentional decision each day to say, nope, I'm going to keep on keeping on, and I'm going to continue to speak this way in pride. What do we harvest? We harvest resistance, trouble, anger, chaos, confusion. That's what comes up in the harvest, right? There we go. Weeds. Pride comes before a fall. Yeah. Harvesting weeds. So if we sow laziness, what are we going to harvest? If we sow laziness, what comes up in the harvest? Nothing. As my friend Elder G says, nothing. Disappointment. Right? We're expecting something to grow. We thought we did something. Have you ever had one of them days you're like, oh, I'm tired. And you really feel like, in the mind, your mind, the body's convinced. But at the end of the day, when you look back, you're like, I ain't did nothing. You're like, well, what did I think I was doing? So if we sow laziness, what are we going to harvest? Lack. If we delay diligence, we also delay destiny. And because we don't know the time of the hour, now is the time, family. Don't wait. You know, the passage went through my head yesterday. In the twinkling of the eye, in a moment, things can change. So now is the time to put in that work, to put in that cultivation, to work on those harvests. We cannot delay diligence and obedience because our eternal destiny depends on it. Laziness produces laziness. We come up with emptiness. Nothing, right? And again, disappointment. The field doesn't lie. The field doesn't lie. But what the field does do is it mirrors and reflects our habits back to us. So today isn't just a call to dream bigger. No, 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 no. It's a call to plant better. Because in the kingdom, we don't get the harvest that we hope and wish for. We get the one that we honored with our work, with our diligence. So speak like it's coming, family. Continue to work like it's growing. Move like the harvest is already on schedule. Because guess what? It is. And our very future is listening to every seed that we plant. So let's see if the seeds that we planted this morning actually took some root. Let's get into it and see.
In the morning, light so bright, it's the first light reflections quiz time. Tornado leading the way with God's wisdom. Let's start the quiz and seize the day.
Let's go.
Here we go. True or false, family? Your words either water your breakthrough or weaken it. What say you, fam? Your words either water your breakthrough or weaken it. Is this true or is this false? Laziness produces poverty and lack. What say you, fam? Michelle coming through and saying, that's true. You know what, Michelle? I'm in full agreement. Sister Lily saying, and I agree with all of y'all, especially Mama B. That is true. Our words either water our breakthrough or weaken it. Fill it in. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of blessing, pride, bitterness, or joy. 1, 2, 3, or 4. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of blessing, pride, bitterness, or joy. What say you, fam? Fill it in. According to our devotional text, in the mouth of a fool is a rod of blessing, pride, bitterness, or joy. Let's see. 2, you say. Let's see. That is it. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride. All right. What does wise speech accomplish? It preserves momentum. It inflates pride. It just sounds spiritual, or it guarantees popularity. What does wise speech accomplish? Preserving momentum, inflates pride. Sounds good, sounds spiritual. It guarantees popularity. You ever hear somebody say a whole kerfuffle, a whole kabumble? That's a word. Those are words this morning. A whole heap of. How about that one? A whole heap of words. And it sounds good. But as you replay them through, you're like, they just said a whole lot of nothing. But it sounded spiritual. But once you once you break it down and put it next to a thus said the Lord, you're like, they ain't said nothing. Sounded good though. Right? I know you've been there. I know I'm not the only one. Like, man. Sounded good. They even convinced themselves that they was, And the sad part is, oftentimes we sit there and we clap and holler and shout, amen. And they ain't said nothing. Sounded good though. This lesson is definitely for me. I'm having umpteen distractions. Oh, family, it preserves our momentum. All right, true or false? Harvest comes easily to the passive. Harvest comes easily to the passive. Is this true or is this false? What saith you? Harvest comes easy to the passive. Let's see. All right. Let me take a look over here and see. Boy, just got all kind of stuff going. Let's see. All right. Quit tinkering. Like, come on, coach. Quit playing around. The answer is false. Y'all were correct. Fill it in. Much increased prayer, fasting, or clout comes by the strength of an ox. What did our devotional text say? Much increase, prayer, fasting, or clout comes by the strength of an ox. What say you this morning? What says you, fam? Let's see. Increase. Jess? I might write this one down. Jess actually in agreement with saying over there. Write this up and write this day down. Let's see. Much increase comes by the strength of an ox. All right, fam. According to verse 4 of our devotional text, what does a clean but empty field symbolize? Excellence, laziness, fruitfulness, or blessing? What does a clean but empty field symbolize? Is it excellence, laziness, fruitfulness, or blessing? In our devotional text this morning. Excellence, laziness, fruitfulness, or blessing? What say you? Michelle says laziness. Yup. Okay. Nikki going with it. Mama B said, yep, laziness. Y'all might be on to something this morning. Delisa even got Lee in on it. Okay. Well, let's see. Laziness. That is what our devotional text clearly showed us this morning. True or false? If you speak sloppy and so lazy, you can still expect increase. Is this true or is this false? If you speak sloppy and so lazy, you can still expect increase. True or false? What say you, fam? True. False. Sister Lily, like right out the gate, didn't even have to ask twice. She said, no, I'll tell you right now, that's false. Let's see. But you know somebody will come along and tell you, if you sow a seed right now, I feel it. The Spirit is telling me, somebody, if you sow a seed, a $1,500 seed, right now, you still will be able to expect that increase. Matter of fact, if you sow a $2,500 seed, see, that tell you stuff like this. But it does not line up with the rule book. It just does not. False. You'll get an increase of what you don't want. Tell them, Lee. That's it. Don't let these prophet lying people out here convince y'all out of y'all money, telling y'all these lies. Sow a seed. I know, right? I know. Which habit prepares you for harvest? Loud declarations without discipline, messy, persistent labor, waiting. I'm just waiting for a feeling. I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting on the cloud to move, or avoiding hard work. Which habit prepares you, gets you ready for the harvest? Loud declarations, messy labor, waiting on a feeling, avoiding hard work. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. Nikki says 2. All right. Messy, persistent labor. Anybody else in agreement? What do you say? Let's see. Sister Lily said, yeah, I'm going to go with that one too. Let's see. That is it. Messy, persistent labor. That's what prepares us for the harvest. And we got that directly from our devotional text this morning. Verse 4 of Proverbs chapter 14. That's it. All right, fill it in. Faith without worship, action, prophecy, or perfection is fantasy. Faith without worship, action, prophecy, or perfection is fantasy. Don't believe the hype. A, B, C, or D. Worship, action, prophecy, or perfection. Lights, camera, action. All right. Man. Let me see. All right, let's take a look and see. Faith without action is fantasy. Just hopes and dreams, just words, wishes, wants, just journals full of hopes. Vision boards. Then spend all those hours just cutting everything out, gluing them on the vision board, or even the digital vision board, just slowly adding stuff to it. Faith without action is fantasy. All right, let's bring it on home. What kind of habits does heaven reward? Sloppy habits driven by feelings, hype with no discipline, consistent habits built on wisdom and obedience, are emotional habits based on our mood. What kind of habits does heaven reward? Sloppy, hype, consistent, or on our feelings, on our emotions? Emotional habits. What do you say? Well, I think, I made these two a little bit too easy this morning. We had a clean sweep, going through the motions, right? Just going through the motions.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway.
I agree, Charles. I agree. It's a dead giveaway. Something is wrong here. If the field is nice and squeaky clean, something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Right? I agree, Charles. Consistent habits built on wisdom and obedience. Those are the kind of habits that heaven rewards, family. So, as we finish out our lesson this morning, remember, family, we don't reap dreams just because we declare them. We reap harvest because of the discipline that we have for them. So, our goal this week, what's our goal this week? To let our mouth let our mouth prophesy discipline, not just desires, but also discipline. Let our hands build consistency, not just hype. Let our habits preach louder than our hashtags and our selfie. Let me see the habits. Let me see the dirt under the fingernails. Let me see the work. Let me see the sweat stains. Let our habits preach louder than the hashtags, the selfies, all the pomp and circumstance. So, family, the harvest that you're praying for is waiting on the habits that you're planting today. And remember, you're not doing it alone. Not only are we, your First Light community family, here for support and for guidance and to walk this walk with you each and every weekday morning at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Emmanuel, God with us. You don't walk this journey alone. So, family, walk wisely, speak carefully, and continue to build boldly. Build with action. All right? Until next time, walk good, do good, be good. Tornado, I'm out. I love y'all. I truly, truly do, though. But for now, me gone. Soon forward. All right? Soon come. 5:30 tomorrow.
Wake up to the sunrise glow. First light reflections, here we go. Torah uses God's wisdom to guide us every day. Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. feel the